She is an incredible person, and I'm so blessed to be her dad.
Right now on Eyewitness News, the father of one of the 20 children gunned down at a Connecticut elementary school is speaking out about his daughter, how his family's dealing with the tragedy tonight. Plus, the massacre sparking questions about gun control and how to prevent another tragedy like the Sandy Hook shooting. And back here at home, Santa Claus making a very special stop for kids in the Triangle. Eyewitness News starts in 30 seconds.
Keeping you connected with today's breaking news. ABC 11 Eyewitness News at 11 starts right now.
A community in mourning tonight. We learn the names of the 26 people gunned down inside Sandy Hook Elementary School, and now we're beginning to learn more about how they lived and how they'll be remembered. Our own John Camp starts us off tonight. He's live in Newtown. John.
You know, Joel, all over the country, people have been blogging and tweeting, saying that they want to do something, some way they can help. Well, one woman in North Carolina has done just that. She bought the bulk of 26 Christmas trees, one for each victim, that will be scattered around the local fire department here. The local fire department is where the teachers and students ran to after the massacre. It is just one way that people are trying to help, as the family members of these victims are beginning to speak out about what happened.
She was the type of person that could just light up a room.
Robbie Parker will never get to see his 6-year-old smile again. Emily Parker was one of the first graders killed yesterday in the second most deadly school shooting in the country's history.
Sandy Hook School, callers indicating she thinks there's someone shooting in the building.
It went from something that, you know, I can't imagine this is happening. This has to be some sort of mistake.
It was no mistake, just madness. A 20-year-old named Adam Lanza shot his mother at the house they shared here in southern Connecticut, then drove her car to Sandy Hook Elementary, busted in a window, and did the unthinkable. Used a semi-automatic rifle to kill 20 kids, 6 and 7-year-olds, as well as 6 adults at the school.
We've done everything we need to do to literally peel back the onion layer by layer, okay, and examine every crack and crevice of that facility.
Lieutenant Paul Vance with the Connecticut State Police says that could take another day or two, but he says the evidence they're gathering is helping put together a possible motive. In the meantime, folks here are wrapping their arms around each other, looking for comfort anywhere they can, and finding it in their neighbors. It's that spirit Robbie Parker hopes people will take away from this, so when the cloud passes, a silver lining is left behind.
As we move on from what happened here, what happened to so many people, let it not turn into something that defines us, but something that inspires us to be better, to be more compassionate, and more humble people.
Forgiveness is a remarkable thing. Robbie Parker says his heart not only goes out to, of course, all of the victims and their families, but also the family of the shooter. The United Way has set up a fund, unofficial fund, but a fund nonetheless to help out around here. We put information about that on our website, also about the Christmas trees. Quickly on that, it's a neat idea. The idea is that people can donate ornaments with well wishes and thoughts and remembrances, and then the families of the victims can take those home with them after the holiday season and have them for the rest of time. Live in Newtown, Connecticut, John Camp, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
John, thanks for that. Details are now emerging about the victims of the massacre. We know the principal is among the dead, Dawn Hochsprung, and Mary Spurlock. She's the school psychologist. Hochsprung reportedly tried to overtake the gunman, with Sherlock also rushing in to defend her students. Both were married with children. There's also teacher Victoria Soto. Her family says her body was found in a position that suggests she was trying to shield some of her first-grade students and hurried most of them into a closet before the gunman arrived. And not found inside the school, the gunman's own mother, Nancy Lanza. Her family released a statement this evening.
On behalf of Nancy's mother and siblings, we reach out to the community of Newtown and express our heartfelt sorrow for the incomprehensible and profound loss of innocence that has affected so many.
The grieving process is just as difficult for those who survived. Diane Licata's son was in the classroom with the shooter, but was able to get out. But the boy's teacher was Vicky Soto, the teacher we mentioned, one of the confirmed dead.
He really really cared about his teacher. He was very close with her, and she really loved the class. And he keeps saying, I really hope she's okay. I hope it's not her.
The couple's daughter also attends the school, but she is also safe. An outpouring of grief and support for the victims all across the nation tonight. Tonight, hundreds gathered in Stratford, Connecticut at an emotional memorial for Victoria Soto. That's her hometown. The vigil held at the high school where she graduated. Attendees sang Amazing Grace and held candles there. Back here in the Triangle, they paid tribute to the victims as well. Here's the scene in Chapel Hill tonight. The crowd at the Dean Dome pausing for a moment of silence before the Heels took on East Carolina. Fans stood quietly for all of those affected by the tragedy. And about 15 chaplains from the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team have been dispatched to Connecticut. They're providing emotional and spiritual help to those affected by the tragedy. They're also trained in crisis management. Some of the chaplains are expected to stay in Newtown through the holidays. President Obama will visit Newtown tomorrow. He'll be meeting with victims' families and speaking at an interfaith vigil there. He pledged in his weekly address today to take meaningful action to curtail gun violence, but that has some gun owners concerned about new restrictions on Second Amendment rights. Kelly O'Hara is live outside the Capital City Gun Show, which kicked off this weekend at Raleigh Fairgrounds. Kelly, a lot of fresh debate over the gun control following the tragedy.
Good evening, Joel. Yeah, a lot of debate across the country on social media and here at home. Everyone having an opinion over the right to bear arms. 24 hours after this national tragedy, the gun control debate has begun.
When you start thinking about your children, your family members, and the impact that these guns are having, you know, I would think that most folk would want to sign on.
It's not the guns that kill people, it's people that kill people.
Outside this weekend's gun show in Raleigh, that discussion has come front and center. It's here where we meet Kathleen Leary and her boyfriend. The pair drove from Greensboro for the show and say this horrific school shooting shows the need more than ever for protection of the Second Amendment.
All these places that people are targeting they know for a fact that no one's going to be there to be able to defend themselves, and it's just like I was speaking to somebody. They've kind of turned into predators, and we're the prey. And unfortunately, we can be able to defend ourselves.
But not everyone agrees.
The gun control in America, because it is really getting out of hand. It really is. And I think it was almost like a rude awakening, you know, like we need to do something about this.
And not everyone agrees with the timing of this show either.
It's in poor taste, and I recognize I'm sure a lot of effort has gone into planning that, but in lieu of everything that's happened, I think it's in poor taste.
However, some gun control advocates say the real discussion needs not to be about guns, but about the people pulling the triggers.
Trying to make them illegal and taking them away is not going to solve the problem.
We need to be able to control guns in that keep them away from the people that don't need to have them. Obviously, I believe in my Second Amendment right to bear arms, but I also don't have any evil intentions with my guns. So how to keep them out of the wrong hands, I truly don't have an answer for that.
Clearly, everyone has an opinion over gun control, including some who didn't want to see our camera here earlier. Now, this debate is obviously going to continue in the next couple of weeks and months. Now, we approached the show's organizer today. He declined to go on camera, but he said his sympathy obviously goes to the families of the fallen up in Connecticut. And this show ends tomorrow night. For now, Joel, I'll send it back to you.
Kelly O'Hara live at the State Fairgrounds for us tonight. Kelly, thank you. The tragedy has got a lot of you buzzing online. You can leave your thoughts and condolences on our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ABC11. A would-be shooting rampage thwarted in Oklahoma. Police arrested 18-year-old Sammy Chavez yesterday. They say he was planning to open fire at Bartlesville High School in northeastern Oklahoma. Police say he was plotting to lure students into the school's auditorium, chain the doors, and start shooting. He tried to recruit other students to help him, and one of them alerted authorities. Johnston County authorities say a sheriff's deputy is on leave tonight after shooting and killing a man who was swinging a machete at him. Deputies were called out early this morning to a home on the 500 block of Richardson Road in Zebulon. They say a man began swinging the machete and the deputy shot him. The deputy has been placed on administrative leave with pay. The SBI has been called in to investigate, as is routine. And state investigators are looking into a high school student's claims that she was raped at the home of a Henderson County sheriff's deputy. The alleged incident happened on December 8th at a party hosted by the deputy's son. The Henderson County County Sheriff says the deputy and most of his family were out of town and unaware of the incident. Both the alleged victim and suspected attackers are students at East Henderson High School. The Sheriff's Office called in the SBI to ensure the public's confidence in the investigation. A Durham man under arrest accused of starving one of his dogs to death. Ishmael Kennedy is charged with felony animal cruelty. Deputies were first called out to his home on November 12th. They found a dog dead in his yard and 2 others in bad condition. Kennedy was ordered to get care for the living dogs. A veterinarian's report later showed the other dog died of starvation. Kennedy is free tonight on $13,000 bond. The Highway Patrol investigating an accident involving a pedestrian last night. According to the Fayetteville Observer, the pedestrian was hit on NC 210 just outside city limits around 7 last night. The victim's name and condition have not been released. No word on if any charges will be filed. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is recovering tonight after a nasty fall. Details on the incident, plus new talks of her successor. And Santa greeting kids in style this year, where he flew in to say Merry Christmas to some very eager kids. First, though, a live look outside the Raleigh Eyewitness News Center as the Saturday night life gets heated up out on Fayetteville Street. What's up for the rest of the weekend weather, Scott Dean?
Well, it looks like a lot of clouds. We saw those clouds move in earlier this evening, and they're going to be sticking around for the next couple of days, and even some raindrops falling from those clouds in some areas. We'll zoom into that and talk about how long this chance for much-needed rain will last and where temperature's going to go. They'll start to go down eventually. That's coming up in your forecast, Joel.
And here's another look at tonight's Powerball numbers. They are 40, 23, 44, 55, 15. Your Powerball tonight is 14. Tonight's jackpot, $40 million. Eyewitness News continues in a moment.